Hi, this is Ken Manning from Insight Principles, and this video is about the intelligent and miraculous design of all of our human minds. At Insight Principles, we call this the design for success, and it's the blueprint for how your mind functions intelligently from the inside out, giving you all of the resourcefulness you need for living in a crazy and ever-changing world. The more you realize how the mind works at this level, the more you see the resourcefulness and the presence of this living intelligence in you, which enables you to have more ease and efficiency, to be productive with a minimum of mental stress, and to really enjoy whatever's going on, no matter what it is. This living design, this intelligent design in us, is a manifestation of the essential principles operating at the core of ourselves psychologically. We talk about these principles in all of our courses, all of our videos, all of our books and literature. And if you haven't seen the video on our principles, on the principles, the two videos that we've done, you might want to look at those. Anyway, I'm going to do three things on this video. One is I'm going to shine a light a little bit more on this intelligent design. I want to talk about the value of realizing it. And the third is give you some ideas about how to use this knowledge. But let me tell you a story first. So when I was a youth, I was in the Boy Scouts. And in summer camp, we went to enjoy the outdoors. And one of the things we had to do was learn canoeing. So in learning canoeing, they took us out on the lake and they showed us all of the strokes and the equipment and the canoe and how it works. And I got proficient at doing the strokes and really enjoyed the exercise and learning and the water and the various physics of it and how to control the canoe. It was lovely. Then they decided to take us on the advanced course. And the advanced course was on the river with the rapids. And the day they took us, it had rained the night before. So the river was really strong and the rapids were really wild. And there was an instructor in the back. And I was a bit of a nervous Nelly type of a person at the time. And I was sitting in the front. And it was getting louder and louder the closer we got to the rapids. And I couldn't hear what the instructor was saying anymore. And I think I freaked out. He might even have put my head down because I didn't want to see what was coming because it was really steep and it was really fast. So I closed my eyes. I think I closed my eyes as far as I can remember. But what I remember is the canoe went right through the rapids. I don't even think the instructor in the back did anything because it was too fast. I don't know what he could have done anyway. When we got through the rapids and we were in the part where we were just kind of sailing down the river, and I looked back and the rapids were wild. I thought, wow, this canoe is designed to go right through these rapids perfectly. And that's what I've learned about the mind. The mind has the same capacity to carry us through life, no matter what's going on. And the more we understand that, the easier our time will be canoeing down the rapids of life. So let me explain to you three reasons why we're really confident that the mind has this design for success. So the first is our basic psychological structure. Our basic psychological structure is made up of principles or forces of nature that are operating all of the time that give us our ability to experience life. Without these principles, life would not be experienced by us. So there's at the core of it is this intelligent life force, similar to the force in our bodies, beating our hearts, running our immune system, breathing, digesting, orienting. Well, the mind has the same intelligent life force built into it. It gives us consciousness. And it gives us the power to think. So that at the core of us is this living intelligence, consciousness, awareness, and the ability to have our own unique life created by our own unique thinking moment to moment. And in each moment, our thinking is unique, which means we'll have a different, unique experience of life each moment. And at this essence, this core of our psychological being, as our reality is experienced and perceived and shaped and created from the inside out by our thoughts every moment, we get to be ourselves, respond to life, and enjoy as best as we can and be productive and get a lot done and take care of ourselves and take care of our families. But the intelligence and the power is all generated inside of us from the inside out. So we're actually, even though we're in a body with physical senses in a physical world, the body and the physical senses are experienced and empowered by this creative power that we have to think. So if I'm not feeling the socks on my feet, it's because I'm not thinking about it. But now if I'm thinking about it, I will feel them. This is the power of thought. It creates our experience from the inside out. And this is the intelligence of the system. The deepest aspect of our design for success is that we're experiencing life in our own consciousness via thought. And that power, that process, enables us to have a sovereignty within our own experience, a sense of not necessarily control, but a sense of presence to ourselves going through life. The power is always on the inside. It's never on the outside. Things, painful things, difficult things can happen because of our bodies and our situation. But psychologically, we always have the power to experience life via our own thinking, no matter what's going on. The second reason we're confident about this is that the invisible, intelligent life force in us gives us a flow of intelligent thinking. So I remember who I am. I remember what's relevant to me. I respond to life as it happens. I get new thinking all of the time. So as we're experiencing life from the inside out through this process of consciousness and thought, we have a flow of intelligent thoughts happening all the time. You can see it whenever you have a problem to solve. Well, you think about it, and before you know it, you've got good ideas to solve the problem. If you want to get Chinese food, the mind starts generating ideas about how to get Chinese food, and before you know it, you've got Chinese food. Children are great examples of this. They're learning all of the time. They never stop. It's actually the same with us. We're learning all of the time, but we may not notice. But if you look at kids, they're exuberant, they're inspired, they're happy, they're exploring, they're learning, they're curious, they're having insights, they're realizing things. Well, they're not making themselves do that. It's just happening. Well, what's the mechanism by which it's happening? Well, kids are conscious beings, thinking creatures with this intelligence built into them, enabling them to get around in life and learn. Adults do. We all have the same thing. We can learn and realize new things at any time. So maybe you're having an insight or seeing something from this video. Well, your design for success is giving you the intelligence and the power to do that. Now, the third reason that we're really confident about this design for success is that the mind works with an intelligent logic in the way that it functions. It's like your operating system. It's like your computer has an operating system in it. And when you turn it on, the computer boots up. And as it's booting up, it organizes the programs and the cursor and the mouse and the screen and the keyboard and the audio and the video, and it organizes it all into a coherent functioning pattern so that you can use the computer to get anything done you want. Well, your mind has a similar operating system going on all of the time with one added feature, this living intelligence at the core of it. So when we boot up, when we become present with clarity, what happens? We see what's going on around us, we hear what's going on around us, and we begin to understand what we're seeing and what we're hearing, what we're feeling. And when we understand, we start to get thoughts about what to do, what's relevant, what's important, what do we do about this? Should we interact? Should we not interact? What should we do? And then if we have goals and dreams and desires, then we begin to interact in order to manifest those dreams and goals and desires. And how do we do that? Well, we get a flow of ideas and energy and movement to make it happen. We don't stop and analyze how that's happening because we don't need to. The miracle of it is it's happening intelligently for us. We just point ourselves at something that we want. Before you know it, we're making it happen. So there's this intelligent logic happening in us all of the time. And if you slow down the tape of your own experience, you'll see this is happening all the time. And that's what we call your design for success. Okay. Now, why is it useful to realize this? It's useful because in our training, in our education, we're given a great deal of encouragement to use our intellect in very sophisticated ways. And we learn to live driving our life with our egos and our intellect in order to get stuff done and get what we want in life. And there's very little education to help us realize we have this internal operating system with all of the wisdom and intelligence and brilliance of it. If we were to pay attention to it more, we may not need to use our intellect and our ego so hard, working so hard and thinking so hard and overanalyzing everything so hard, as many of us do. Because that overwork and that overthinking is what creates the stress, the unhappiness, the negativity, the strain on our mental and emotional and physical systems. It comes from overusing the mind in ways that it wasn't designed to work originally. The intellect is a fantastic tool, and it's great that we have sophisticated knowledge on how to use it. But to use it without being in balance of this design for success inside of us puts us out of balance, our efforts out of balance, and our efficiency way out of balance. So the more you realize you have this living, intelligent process at the core of you, the more you know when to relax, the more you know when to work hard and for just as long as is needed. You know when to think hard and when to step back and allow insight and wisdom and perspective to come. I'll give you another canoeing example. So later on, when I was first together with my wife, before I had learned these principles, we'd go out canoeing, and I'd be sitting in the back, and I'd be working really hard to, drive the canoe, and she's up there doing her part, but she's really enjoying the ride. Every once in a while, she'd turn back and say, "Honey, are you enjoying yourself?" I go, "Yeah, I'm getting a really good workout." And a little while later, she turned back and said, "Honey, are you enjoying yourself?" "Well, yeah, I'm getting a good workout." Now, a little while later, my body's getting tired. She says, "Honey, are you enjoying yourself?" And I realized I'm not really enjoying myself. I'm working hard. And then it occurs to me, you know what, Ken, you're going downstream anyway. You don't need to be working so hard. So I would relax and I would enjoy the scenery and enjoy being with her and enjoy being myself and having a nice day. But that's a metaphor or an analogy for how we live in our minds We tend to grind, work hard, and push, and we can do this for 8, 10, 12, 14 hours a day. And it's not necessary. An example is I used to worry. I used to be a big-time worrier, and I would worry about anything. So I was constantly thinking about what could go wrong. I was constantly thinking about what to do about what would go wrong, or planning to make things not go wrong, or, my life was anxious because I was using that part of my mind as my main strategy for going through life. And when I started to realize I have an intelligence in me that will get ideas and know how to respond if something happens, or whatever is going to happen most of the time, or all of the time, I get ideas and responses from this living intelligence in me. The more I started to realize that, I started to notice myself worrying and realized, Ken, you don't need to worry so much. You're going to figure out what to do when the time comes. And the more I let go of worrying, the more I found myself just being in the moment, enjoying my life. Which is sort of the punchline, if the more that we think we need to think our way through life, the less we can actually be here in the present moment, enjoying the presence and the power of this human system that we're living in. And we go off in thought, working harder than we need to. So, some ideas, just some useful ideas. So when I was first learning about this design for success, I realized I don't spend any time paying attention to the presence of it. I just take it for granted. I'm always interested in my to-do list or what I want to accomplish or things that I'm enjoying. I don't pay attention to the fact that this intelligence is running my system. So I began to take some time to notice. So for example, I'd have an insight. I'd have an insight about, a problem I was having. Let's say it was, how do I fix my lawnmower? I'd have an insight. All right, great. I got this great idea. Let's go do it. And I'd start fixing the lawnmower. Now, I wouldn't stop and notice. Well, now that's really cool, Ken. You just had an insight. Where did that come from? How did that happen? And then I'd start having insights and I'd stop for a moment and notice, wow, cool, I had an insight. And I'd appreciate, oh, I have this intelligence in me. Or I'd be with someone I really was interested in. And I would listen really deeply to what they were saying. And I would start to have this deep understanding of where they were coming from. And then I would have this empathy. And then I would feel really connected. And I would get some insight and some energy about how to respond in a really gracious way. And then we would connect. And then I would start to notice, oh, it's not me, the ego, doing this. It's this intelligence, it's this design. This is what, whenever I listen deeply and respond that way, this is what happens. So over time, I began to see more and more that I have this system and observe how it works. And the more I saw it, the more I came to rely on it, the more I came to trust that it's there, always working on my behalf. And the more I would see that, the more I would relax in my life. Now, I'm still very engaged, very productive, doing more things than ever, having more responsibilities than ever, and enjoying it all more than ever. And some of it may be because I've mastered things in my life and learned a lot, but I would say at the core of it, however, is this knowledge that my system is designed miraculously, intelligently from the inside out, to be able to do life with ease and grace and efficiency and intelligent presence of mind. So to summarize, we all have this intelligent and miraculous mental design, this blueprint operating inside of us, enabling us to be psychologically successful no matter what's going on around us. And the more you realize the reality, the presence, and the resourcefulness of this, the more efficient your mind will be used, the easier it will be to do whatever you want to get done, and the more enjoyment you can have in life. And the more you look and the more you see that this is present and alive in you, the more you'll come to know it, the more intimate you'll be with it, and the more you'll be able to rely on it, knowing that it's part of your life. So I hope this was helpful. All the best. Thanks so much.